What's happening, people? It's the homie Smitster 400, one half of Straight Off the Ave. Shout out to my co-host, Mr. Dubbins, and this is Smitster Reacts. And right now, what I'm finna get into or react to is the homie Keefe D, man. They said he got checked on the inside. He got a reality check. A reality check over all the Tupac ish that he been doing on the outside. You feel me? And cats on the inside not feeling that, so they checking him on the inside. You know what I'm saying? They've been checking him. You feel what I'm saying? According to you know, who this is, excuse me. Rap Daily. According to Rap Daily, you feel what I'm saying? So we gonna get into this. Let's go.
I heard you done got whooped on about 3 times already in there.
27 years after the death of one of hip-hop's most influential rappers, Tupac Shakur, a Las Vegas area grand jury has indicted a man for his murder. Dwayne Keith Davis, alias Keefe D, was taken into custody on September 29, 2023 by Las Vegas Metropolitan Police. With his own public statements implicating him, this is how Keefe D got a reality check after bragging about Tupac's death while behind bars. Keefe D gets a reality check. After 27 long years, the Tupac murder case seems to have been solved with Keefe D now behind bars. And rumor has it that it's not all rainbows and sunshine for the former gangster. News started spreading that Keefe D was being roughed up in jail. The internet detective that everyone loves to hate was quickly on the case. DJ Vlad used his sources to try to authenticate the rumor. However, according to the YouTube star, the rumor was not true. DJ Vlad took to his X account where he offered clarity on the situation. There's a rumor going around that Keefe D got beat up and stabbed in jail. I looked into it and it doesn't appear to be true. However, one fan on his comment section claimed that Keefe D had gotten into 2 fights with members of different gangs. Allegedly, he was in 2 fights, one with a Hoover and the other a Crip, according to some YouTuber, the user tweeted. DJ Vlad replied to this comment assuring him that his sources that were close to the situation had assured him that nothing of that nature had occurred. I've now talked to multiple people close to the situation and they all said nothing has happened to him, DJ Vlad replied. However, just 1 month later, Reggie Wright Jr. has dropped a bombshell regarding Keefe D's situation. Reggie Wright Jr. previously worked at Suge Knight's Death Row Records, and his father was previously a gang enforcer at the Los Angeles Sheriff Department's unit Operation Safe Street in Compton. According to him, Keefe D had been jumped 3 times already in jail.
I heard you done got whooped on about 3 times already in there. And I got that confirmed from a very, very good source. But nothing major, just, kicked, stumped, hit.
Well, it seems that Keefe D is quickly learning that actions do indeed have consequences. Through interviews and even in a book he co-authored, Keefe D incriminated himself in the murder of Tupac Shakur by revealing his involvement in the events leading up to that fateful night in Las Vegas. Hours before he was shot, Tupac had been involved in a fight with Orlando Anderson, a known gang member from Southern California. In his book Compton Street Legend, Keefe admitted to being one of the 4 people in the white Cadillac that was used in the shooting. When asked who shot Tupac, Keefe D admittedly said he knew, but wouldn't reveal.
To keep it for the code of the streets. It just came from the backseat, bro.
In his book, Keefe wrote, "We were on a mission, looking into each one until we pulled up to the front vehicle and found who we were seeking." Keefe D's confession spree ended with him in trouble when the police raided his home. In July 2023, the police raided his wife's home in Henderson, Nevada. An affidavit filed to obtain the search warrant stated that police were looking for items concerning the murder of Tupac Shakur. The police were specifically looking for any notes, writings, ledgers, and other handwritten or even typed documents concerning television shows, documentaries, YouTube episodes, book manuscripts, and movies relating to the murder of Tupac Shakur. Apart from the electronics, the investigators left the former gangster's home with USB and hard drives, photographs, a copy of Vibe magazine featuring Tupac, and a copy of the Compton Street Legends book, co-authored by Keefe D and Yusuf Ja. According to the warrant, investigators were generally searching for items that would provide evidence of motive or even reveal the identity of Tupac's killer. Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolfson, in an interview early October, said, "It started with a number of admissions Mr. Davis has made over the last few years. He participated in a documentary. He co-authored a book. He gave a number of YouTube interviews. His admissions really piqued the investigation. So why was he that comfortable to talk freely and openly about such a high-profile murder? Why didn't the feds arrest him sooner with him confessing to anyone who'd listen?" Well, it turns out that Keefe D believed that he had immunity from prosecution from a proffer agreement that he made with feds. It is important to note that a proffer agreement is an agreement between the feds and a defendant. This agreement ensures government attorneys do not use any statements the defendant makes during an off-the-record interview against them in later proceedings. Keefe D's biggest mistake was not speaking to his attorney before heading to interviews. While his statement to the feds in 2008 can't be used against him, what he did not know was that anything he said outside the interview room was fair game and would be used to prosecute him. In an interview, Greg Kading, a former Los Angeles Police Department detective turned author, who is also best known for working on a multi-law enforcement task force that investigated the murders of Tupac and Biggie Smalls, spoke about the proffer agreement between Keefe D and the feds, saying, "The proffer agreement simply said that when you sit down and talk to us, whatever you say that is self-incriminating, we won't use against you." But when he leaves that room, that agreement doesn't apply to everything else in his life, as he erroneously believed. So he began to go out and boast about his involvement in the murder. None of that's protected under the agreement. He has essentially talked himself right into jail. How exactly did Keefe D end up with such an agreement with the feds? What possibly could they have had on him that made the gangster snitch? According to Greg Kading, the reason he got such a deal with the feds is because Keefe D was involved in a PCP ring and cocaine distribution. Speaking to Vlad TV, Greg Kading said that, "When we initially met up with him, we just went to his house and met him on his own property, informed him of some of the charges that we built up against him during a long drug investigation. The charges included the distribution of PCP, distribution of large amounts of cocaine, and wiretap investigations, which are these electronic crimes." In 2008, Keefe D was arrested in a PCP ring case. According to reports, the feds had been gathering evidence on the drug ring that Keefe D ran and had enough intel to put him away for 25 years. As cops normally do, they enticed Keefe D to tell them what happened the night Tupac was shot dead.
And we put an ironclad case against him, approach him, and say, "Here's the deal, Keefe D, we have questions about these murders. If you don't cooperate, you're going to prison for the rest of your life, and so are several members of your family who are caught up in your drug organization."
In truth, everyone who was involved had long died, including the shooter. And with the extra motivation on the table, you best believe Keefe D sang like a bird for 3 straight hours.
He confesses to his involvement in the murder of Tupac Shakur in Las Vegas in 1996. He tells us that his nephew, Orlando Anderson, was in the same car with him, which was the white Cadillac.
After truth-telling, the drug case against Keefe D was dropped and he walked away a free man. As many would assume, this might have been Keefe D's second chance at life, a chance to start over again. It just so happens that a few years later, in 2011, ex-cop Greg Kading published the book titled Murder Rap, which highlighted Keefe D's confession in detail. Greg Kading's book implicated some of the industry's biggest names. The most notable name in the book, as we will see later, was none other, Sean Combs, alias P. Diddy. Keefe D's story had a grip on audiences across the nation and the world. Greg Kading believes that the ex-gangster became envious. In his mind, this was his story. He deserved a piece of the pie for having let the world know what happened to Tupac. It didn't help that the book spinned into a documentary in 2015, just 4 years after it was published. Keefe D must have felt jealous that his moment to shine was stolen and someone was making big bucks out of it, while all he got was his name and reputation destroyed for breaking the street code and cooperating with the feds. The cops were making bank. According to Greg Kading, Keefe D resented the fact that someone else other than him was telling the world the story.
But if you understand the ego of Keefe D, he resented that somebody else was telling the story other than him.
Well, Keefe D decided to do the unthinkable, set the record straight. He came out publicly to speak about what happened in 1996. But who exactly is Keefe D? How is it that he was associated with some big players in the hip-hop industry while not being a star himself? How exactly did he rise, brushing shoulders with who is who in the hip-hop world? Keefe D? Keefe D was born on June 14, 1963, and was an intriguing figure in the crime world with ties to the California-based gang, the Southside Compton Crips. Coming from a family of 6 brothers and 6 sisters, Keefe D's upbringing was shaped by a backdrop of gang culture. His life story is a mosaic of experiences that span gang affiliations, personal losses, and a significant time spent behind bars. In 1980, at the tender age of 15, Keefe D lost his mother from colon cancer. In his 2018 memoir, he revealed that in 2014, he got the same cancer that killed his mother, which may have emboldened him to come clean on his role in Tupac's death. Fortunately, or unfortunately, he is now in remission, which means that if found guilty, he may live out the rest of his life in jail. Apart from losing his mom to cancer, Keefe D also lost 2 of his brothers, one from cancer and the other was shot in the streets of Compton. The tragic loss of one of his older brothers to a fatal shooting incident cast a shadow on his life journey. The ex-gangster was just 26 years old when he received the devastating news that his brother had been killed by individuals affiliated with the East Side certified Pyrus, which is a testament to the harsh realities of the environment he grew up in. Keefe's life in crime started way back in 1971 when he started getting involved with the Crips. Although he at first worked in Compton College earning very little, he would eventually succumb to peer pressure and get into selling drugs when he realized that's where the big money was. This would have a short life, and eventually the law caught up with him and he went to prison for dealing from 1985 to 1989. However, according to him, the time in prison didn't rehabilitate him, but instead made him a hardened gangster. After getting out of jail, Keefe D soon found himself amidst some of the heavyweights in the hip-hop industry, with connections to iconic rapper Eazy-E, and former drug kingpin Harry O was among the co-founders of Death Row Records, the record label that launched the careers of rap legends Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and Tupac Shakur. Harry O too had spent time behind bars since 1988 for attempted murder and kidnapping. In 2021, former President Donald Trump came to his rescue and cut his sentence 7 years short. But Harry O was not the only Death Row co-founder that Keefe D had ties to. As he has revealed multiple times, Keefe D and the infamous Suge Knight grew up together. According to Keefe D, he first met Death Row Records co-founder at the age of 9. They both played Pop Warner football together. However, this would turn sour when Keefe D met Sean Love Combs, alias P. Diddy. The origins of their relationship trace back to a moment when Keefe D lent a lowrider to Usher for one of his music videos, sparking off a friendship. At the time, Diddy had founded Bad Boy Records, which was in competition with Death Row Records. Before the drama between the two labels started, P. Diddy and Suge Knight were actually friends. In an interview, Diddy revealed that the Death Row boss would even pick him up from the airport.
Homeboy, me and him were friends.
Wow.
Who's Suge? Yeah, he would pick me up from the airport.
On November 30th, 1994, while in New York recording music, Tupac was robbed and shot. He alleged that he had been set up by people connected to Diddy's label, which would lead to the escalation of the already brewing feud between the East Coast and West Coast, and by extension had roped in Bad Boy Records and Death Row Records. Fast forward to 1995 at the Source Awards, the Death Row co-founder took to the stage to accept an award. He gave a speech that would ultimately lead to some of the worst events in hip-hop history.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the video, all on the record, dancing, come to Death Row.
That was a direct shot at P. Diddy, who had a habit of appearing in his artist videos and music. Tensions were high that night. However, P. Diddy took to stage, and instead of clapping back at Death Row, he extended an olive branch.
Check this out. I'm the executive producer that a comment was made about a little bit earlier. But check this out. Contrary to what other people may feel, I would like to say that I'm very proud of Dr. Dre, of Death Row, and Suge Knight for their accomplishments.
It seems Diddy wanted peace, or maybe that is what he wanted them to think. Events that took place over the next 2 years saw the deaths of hip-hop's finest rappers, Tupac and Biggie, as Diddy and Keefe D found themselves at the center of it all. On September 24th, 1995, Suge slapped Diddy at a party in Atlanta at the Platinum House nightclub. It didn't help that Tupac had just released arguably the most brutal diss track in hip-hop, Hit 'Em Up, after finishing his time in jail. Diddy wanted to get back at Death Row, but he was afraid of Suge Knight. So he turned to the one man who he knew was not afraid of his nemesis, the leader of the Southside Compton Crips. Keefe D. Keefe revealed that while at a concert in Anaheim and one time at Greenblatt's Deli, Zip, Combs, and himself discussed the hit on Shakur. He took me downstairs and he's like, "Man, I want to get rid of them dudes, man." I was like, "We'll wipe their out quick, man. It's nothing," Keefe D. revealed to the feds. At first, Diddy only wanted Suge dead. However, as Keefe D. revealed to the feds, after Tupac made the brutal diss track aimed at Bad Boy Records, he was added to the kill list. When Combs asked about Shakur and Knight, would he always say both of them? A detective can be heard asking Keefe D. during the interrogation. "He added the boy Shakur on after he made a record," the ex-gangster replied. "Before that, it was just Suge, and then after Hit 'Em Up came out," the detective asked, and Keefe D. replied saying, Yeah, that pissed Combs off." On September 7, 1996, they found their way to Nevada to watch Mike Tyson fight Bruce Seldon. What they didn't know was that their fierce rivals were also around, including Tupac and Knight. After the fight, Keefe D. and the Crips planned to meet in the cafe at the MGM Grand, but Orlando Anderson, alias Baby Lane, his nephew, didn't show up. Then, some 118 East Coast Crips came and told us that they saw some Death Row jump on my nephew down by the casino, Keefe D. wrote in his book. Surveillance footage shows Death Row affiliates surrounding and beating up Baby Lane. After hearing that his nephew had been jumped, Keefe D. revealed that the beef had become personal and decided to retaliate immediately. After Tupac, Suge, and them Death Row jumped on my nephew Baby Lane, became ominously personal. Keefe D. and Tupac's murder.
So what they got you for, man?
Biggest case in Las Vegas history.
Oh yeah? Like recent?
September 7th, 1996.
As we delve into the motive behind Tupac Shakur's murder and the events leading up to that tragic night, we are confronted with a web of rivalries, feuds, and a thirst for revenge that ultimately claimed the life of one of the greatest icons in music history. The climax of the rivalry came in the form of the murder of arguably hip-hop's finest to this day, Tupac. And Keefe D revealed to the world what actually happened the night Tupac died. In his book, Keefe D, his nephew, and 2 others decided to go to Club 662 for a death row after party where Tupac was supposed to perform. According to Keefe D, they had planned to shoot at their rivals, but after Tupac and Knight failed to show up for an hour and a half, Keefe D called his crew off. Lucky for them, they never showed up because it would have been like Al Capone's Valentine's Day massacre if they had, he wrote. On their way home, the group stopped to buy alcohol. Keefe D revealed that he put the Glock that he intended to use in the back of his car. They hopped back in the car and headed to their house. On the way, they saw Tupac with half of his body hanging out of a BMW as he waved to fans who were calling his name. They turned their Cadillac around and followed the BMW, stopping right next to them at a traffic light. The occupants in both cars looked at each other for a split second. Tupac then started to reach for his gun, and according to Keefe D, that's when the fireworks started. The shooter, seated at the back of the Cadillac, rolled down the window and rapidly fired gunshots at Tupac's BMW. One of my guys from the back seat grabbed the Glock and started busting back, he wrote in his memoir. The rapper was hit 4 times, twice in the chest, once in the arm, once in the thigh. One of the bullets went into Shakur's right lung. Knight was hit in the head by fragmentation. They then sped off into the night. The group then ditched their vehicle and then popped bottles and partied like it was any other night. In an interview on Vlad TV, Keefe D revealed that when Diddy got wind of the shooting, he called him and asked whether they had carried out the hit. When Keefe D confirmed it was them, Diddy hung up, and that was the last time the two ever talked. At the hospital, Tupac was placed on life support machines and was ultimately put under a medically induced coma after repeatedly trying to get out of bed. While in the critical care unit on the afternoon of Friday, September 13, 1996, Shakur died of respiratory failure that led to cardiac arrest after the removal of his right lung. Everyone who was at the crime scene refused to cooperate with the cops, meaning they had little to no leads. Keefe D's arrest has sparked conversations as celebrities continue to chime into the story. One of the most notable voices is that of the man who was with Tupac the day he was shot, Suge Knight. Given that he saw the occupants in the white Cadillac, yet he refused to cooperate with the cops, many people were skeptical and even thought that he may have had a hand in Tupac's death. Well, with all this information, what was Suge Knight's reaction to Keefe D's arrest? He spoke to TMZ from a California prison where he's serving a 28-year sentence for voluntary manslaughter. I'm surprised for one because I never thought Keefe D would get arrested. Whatever the circumstances, if he had an involvement in anything, if he didn't have any involvement in anything, I wouldn't wish somebody going to prison on my worst enemy, he said. He was then asked whether he would testify against him. Keep in mind that Keefe D revealed in his memoir that when the white Cadillac pulled up next to the BMW at the traffic light, he and his childhood friend locked eyes just before the shots were fired. As many people expected, the Death Row Records co-founder revealed that he would not be testifying against Keefe D. 1000%. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't testify. None of that. He told TMZ this is perfectly understandable as he was currently in jail. If the inmates got wind that he was cooperating with the cops as a witness, his stay in jail would be very unpleasant. He would be attacked, or even worse, killed, since ratting people out is unacceptable behavior in jail. What is shocking about the Death Row co-founder's reaction to the arrest is that he still denied that Baby Lane pulled the trigger. I never had nothing bad to say about Orlando because he wasn't the shooter, he said. Does he know something that we don't? Is he calling cap on Keefe D's version of events? Well, we may never know. One man who could not help but mock Diddy on the recent revelations was 50 Cent, who chimed in with a dig aimed at his rival through an Instagram post where he told Diddy to lawyer up. Damn, so Pat got lined up by Brother Love. LOL, time to lawyer up might get sticky, 50 Cent posted. There have been numerous reports, including from Keefe D, claiming that Diddy offered $1 million for his 2 nemesis to get killed. However, Keefe D revealed that he never got his cut of the money. In fact, he also claims that Diddy ghosted him after that, seemingly trying to cut off all loose ends. 50 Cent also clowned Diddy on social media by posting a clip of Keefe D and telling Diddy that he should have just paid Keefe D to stop him from implicating the music mogul in his crimes. Brother Love, show some love. Damn, should have just sent this fool a few dollars. 50 Cent captioned the post. It has been a long time coming, and it looks like justice will finally be served. With Keefe D behind bars, the world can rest knowing Tupac received justice. If you enjoy.
And there you have it, and there you have it. Man, so, I mean, What can you say, bro? Keefe D should have kept his mouth shut. He should have kept his mouth shut. He in his 60s, he wanted the clout. And in return, because of that, his karma came around. You was in the car. You was implicated in that murder. You should be doing time. They let you get off. That was a reset. But your own, greed and thirst for real, for attention, gets you put back in the box. And all them fans of Tupac in there allegedly putting hands, feet, elbows, everything on this man. Hey, man, it is what it is. You feel me? Shout out to the subscribers, man. I had somebody comment on one of the videos, about trying this format. You feel me? Where I just let them run and then come in at the end and then do what I do. Like, because I got a tendency to pause because a lot of stuff be catching me like, oh, you feel what I'm saying? But I had to try this out. So, let me know how y'all feeling about that. Let me know how y'all feel about the situation, man. Shoot. Y'all think Keefe D deserved to be in there getting kicked and beat on? I wouldn't wish, jail on nobody either, but at the same time, he put himself in that predicament. You feel me? And if you did the crime, shoot, like I said, it was just karma for real. Karma's real. You heard? But yeah, this has been Smitster Reacts. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Once again, shout out to the subscribers. If you made it this far, might well go ahead and subscribe. And stay tuned. We got more content coming from y'all straight off the app. We out. Owie.